everybody, welcome to episode 4 of Streamer Stories. I am here with my good friend, k0vic.
Hola.
There he is. What's up, k0vic? How are we doing today?
What's going on, man? I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I have been looking forward to this moment for about 3 weeks or so.
Same, buddy. I'm glad we were able to align and get it together.
Finally, we did it. We did it, dude. High five. Fucking, can we do that?
Yay.
Something
Yeah,
like
we can.
I wish I could warp over
There it is. Right?
k0vic is a streamer on the Twitch platform. He's a very creative streamer. He has a whole kind of 80s, 90s reference theme to his stream. I guess that's the way I would put it. How would you put that, k0vic? How would you explain your theme and your stream and what it is you do?
No, I think that was perfect. It's revolves around a lot of nostalgia from my youth. And originally the goal was to kind of find people who had a lot of the weird niche interests that I did from the 80s and 90s. But I've actually recently discovered that I'm introducing people to things they've never met or they've never seen from my era. So that's kind of what the show has ended up turning into. But yeah, it revolves around a lot of 80s and 90s nostalgia.
Right on. It does indeed. You have a lot of. You've made you made a Brady Bunch intro.
Yes, that's our newest. Yep, season 4 of the show.
Season 4. So how long is a season on your stream? And how long have you been streaming as well?
Yeah, so I started streaming about a year ago in October.
Okay.
And the first couple of months was just figuring myself out, what I really wanted to do with it. And then we launched kind of season 2 around about 4 months later, which was kind of Twilight Zone themed. And seasons end up usually lasting around 6 months. And what I try to do is shoot a bunch of content, and then spend the rest of that season editing that content and releasing it throughout the season.
Okay.
And then, yeah, so that it kind of works for me, and basically how I work with editing content. It takes me a long time. I'm getting a lot better at it, but I'm learning the Adobe Suite from scratch.
Right.
So that was kind of a challenge at first, and sometimes motivation can be a problem, and I can get too hung up into a game. And the hardest part is just getting that footage shot. So once I have the footage shot, I have it there, and I can just continue editing over a couple of months and just slowly release things out.
So what type of equipment are you using when you're making these videos? And you don't have any formal training at all, so you're just learning as you go. You're just getting better with every video.
Yeah, just trying to be creative, and I get an idea or a vision in my head. It's like, how can I make that happen? So learning a lot from a software platform as I go, as well as just shooting footage. I have an okay Sony Handycam. The rest are all webcams, room covered in green. We write material and just shoot it. We do everything green, or behind a green screen. Then I pull it into Adobe, and then I just start editing the videos that I shoot, and that's what I end up doing for the live content. It's like the intros and some of the bits that we do on the show.
Have you seen some of those streamers that do all this crazy stuff live? Like, they don't edit it; they sequence it all out with OBS. Have you seen that kind of stuff?
I have not seen that.
There's some crazy shit people are doing now on this freaking website, dude. And they're sequencing everything live. They're doing all this stuff live, and like they'll sit there and like perform it and stuff and practice and get it down. And then when they get like a bunch of gift subs or whatever, they'll do their dance or do their stuff, like whatever sequences they've come up with.
Yeah, so I've seen the Cardboard Cowboy, I think, does something similar to that with.
No. Not this this. I mean, I love Cardboard Cowboy, but this is a whole nother level.
Oh wow,
whole nother level. Yeah, I'm talking like maybe probably 150 different fucking hotkeys to activate all these different things, and just knowing all of this stuff and like creating your own instrument and learning how to play it essentially. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about having a whole room like what you have, and then having like there's this one guy, the Sushi Dragon. He has like these. He looks kind of like Hacker Man from that one little short movie. It has like the Nintendo glove, you know, the Turbo Glove, I think it's called, or something.
Yeah.
Power Glove, right? So he almost has it's like a hacked together Power Glove with all this like Bluetooth stuff with all these hotkeys and shit. And he's just sitting there doing all these crazy fucking things for, you know, several hours a day. I think you should check them out. See if you can get some inspiration for some
yeah,
new
dude,
shit.
I will.
Because video editing's fucking time consuming, dude. And what I found personally is that like with all the video editing, I'd rather just kind of make a lot of that content for YouTube. Of course, if I make little short skits, I could play those on my stream. But like, I find that I get the most reward from my video editing when I focus that for YouTube instead of Twitch. And then on Twitch, I try and live sequence things. And I think that's the direction things are going. But I mean, what's beautiful about this platform is that you could do it however the fuck you want.
Right.
and if you make it work, you make it work. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what most people are doing or what is new and popular or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
No, video editing is so time consuming.
It is. It's fun though. And I'm so,
oh shit.
Uh-oh.
I just spilled my energy drink on the floor.
Oh no. I'm hard on myself when I'm actually doing that editing too. So something that should have only taken me an hour on, I'm spending like 6 hours. I think my buddy that was over here helping me shoot an effect for my show, it took us roughly an hour to shoot, and I think it took me about 15 hours to edit it and make it just perfect. And I think it was about a 10-second long effect. So it's definitely time consuming. I'm super anal about how they look, but I do enjoy doing it.
The creation part of things is what keeps me coming back. All right, once I get the creative juices flowing, right, and ideas are flowing, and we have the equipment, and we have help, and we have everything, and we have the time, and we're going like, I know what you're talking about. What's supposed to take an hour can take all goddamn day because you're having so much fun and you want it to be perfect.
Yeah.
So I've been there. Like I shot I think it's a 53-second video, the scat stand video. That took me a whole weekend to make.
Oh yeah, I believe it. I've seen that video. Yep. And as I was watching that, like and especially now when I watch content online, I'm looking at how I would have created that, right? And now that I'm familiar with Adobe Premiere more, my mind was just blown at how much that would have taken, how much time that would have been. But it came out good, dude. It was definitely worth it.
Yeah, I even ended up cutting it short and starting to like cut some corners just to get the freaking thing done. Because it starts off like a shot-by-shot kind of copy of the original music video, and then it starts kind of veering off, and I go my own style so I can make it easier. But 2 days was almost gone by, but yeah, dude, that's one thing, guys, that I really connect with on k0vic, and I think that's why I think I came across your stream one time, or maybe someone told me to host you, or I don't exactly remember how we met, but I think it was through a host, right? And when I saw his, I just remember I do remember, I don't remember the exact details, but I remember how I felt when I was in k0vic stream for the first time. And that's kind of how it goes in life, right? Like, you don't always remember what somebody said to you, but you might remember how they made you feel, you know? And the way k0vic made me feel, it felt really good. He made me feel nostalgic, first of all, because I could tell that, hey, he took nostalgia and made that the core of his show. And then he did a really good job of actually building around that. Not like making a smaller point, like, hey, okay, we're now a nostalgic show because of this thing that I did. No. He that's like the identity of his show, and it's really well done, and he goes all out on it. It's not half-assed. It is made at home. It's amateur made at home, and so it has that made at home charm. It's kind of like watching a more friendly version of Adult Swim.
Yes, I think that's a really good way to put it.
Yeah.
And I sometimes compare it to like the old 80s, 90s B campy movies, which are my personal favorite, right? I love especially old
campy as fuck
80s and 90s horror.
Yeah.
Yes, I want it to be as campy. So like the quantum loop and the facial expressions and a lot of that. A lot of that's inspired from stuff I grew watching up that was not exactly the biggest.
What's the quantum loop and the facial expressions? What is that about you? For people that have never seen you before.
Oh, just like weird little like things that you see that maybe somebody like Bruce Campbell or somebody from the 80s and 90s.
Oh.
It's just kind of my little shtick, I guess.
I see. Right. Okay. So how does that go again?
Something. Right.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude! I'm gonna
exaggerated emotion. I love it.
I'm gonna do some editing magic on that one when I put this in the editor. All right. Let's get on with some of the boilerplate questions, huh? So you've been streaming for, you said, a year and a half?
Yeah, roughly.
Why did you start streaming? Why did you get into this? Why did you do this?
So, that's a good question. So, and I'm kind of I don't know. Maybe I'm an oddball, or maybe there's more people like me on
You're
Twitch.
fucking oddball, that's for sure.
Very sure. But I didn't actually watch a lot of streamers. I only watched a couple of streamers before I started streaming.
Okay.
And I thought, I think I might be able to do that. But at the time, I was working in IT, and I had a pretty demanding job. I was actually working for a Fortune 500 company that would never allow me to do what I wanted to do while maintaining a full-time job. So an opportunity presented itself, and I talked it over with my wife, and I was like, I really want to try this. And she was 100% on board. So I actually left the company that I was working for to become a full-time streamer, knowing that I wasn't going to make anything out for it. But it was like that chance, a window for me to kind of express myself or possibly show the world
you
what I
had some
have
time to
offer.
do it, whatever you wanted for a while. Even if you failed, it would be okay. You had
opportunity. Exactly.
Okay,
Yep. Yeah. So,
right. So like
yes.
you have a little bit of money. You don't have to work for a little bit. You're financially good, because that's a, you know, there's people that will make this move and they're just taking a huge risk. Like if they fail, they fail hard in life too. Like they have to they put themselves in a little bit of a hole. So
right. And fortunately, I wasn't in that position.
Right.
So
and it's important. I just want to say something. It's important to make, like, for people that want to stream, like, that you don't just jump into it with no exit plan. You have to have an exit plan, like k0vic does. And that's another thing. I have a lot of respect for this guy, because he's not an idiot. He's not an
Thanks,
idiot.
man.
He's smart.
No, it's true. I mean, it's no different than wanting to be a rock star or a like class A celebrity. I mean,
move to Hollywood to be a movie star.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, 99% of them are gonna fail if that's what you're trying to do for your job.
Statistically real, yeah.
Yeah, and when I was in college, what I wanted to do, I wanted to be in a punk rock band. I thought for sure I was going to be in a punk rock band.
Oh yeah.
And I didn't even want to go to college. But my parents said, you can pursue your band dreams as much as you want, but you have to go to college. You have to get a degree, because if it doesn't work out, and it's probably not, we're not trying to hurt your feelings, but these are facts. If it doesn't work out, you need something to fall back on. And that resonated with me, and they were right. It didn't work out. Went into IT, and now here I am streaming away.
Streaming away. k0vic's gonna stream it anyway. Dude. So that's an incredible story of how you got started in streaming, and now you basically do this full time now. Is it okay if I ask if you've reached a level that is sustainable on Twitch? Are you at that point yet, or are you almost there?
No, that's not so. Everything I've made from Twitch, I've 100% put back into Twitch. In terms of either upgrading the hardware that I have, the various giveaways that we do. Right now, it's still everything I make from Twitch is going back into the stream. So I'm hoping at one point I'll be able to kind of break those buckets up and start more of a realistic budget. Hey, this is going to go for actual revenue that we want to keep. That's going to go to my overall income, and then the rest will go to stream. But we're not there yet. We're getting there, but not quite there yet.
Okay, right on. Well, I appreciate you answering that. It's you know, it's kind of a touchy subject for some people. I'm in the same boat. I'm not quite full. I'm almost there. I've almost got myself there. Man. But it's awesome. It's still got a little bit more to go. You know, like people say, oh, you made it, and it's like, no, you know, like a lot of people look at viewer numbers and stuff, and they you know, they don't realize what that actually means. So I think someone needs to be at like a couple hundred viewers minimum to, you know, you know, to basically match a job.
Yeah, agreed. And I've kind of done the rough math based upon what I know about some streamers, what I know about myself. And I think really to make it sustainable, you're looking at somewhere probably on the average 300 viewers.
You think so? 300? Yeah, you're probably right. Well, it depends on, see, here's the thing. It depends on the streamer. Like, there's some streamers that have like maybe 50 to 75, and they're at that exact same full-time level. They just have a stronger community.
Yeah. Are they paying their taxes? Because that's the other thing too.
I mean, that's a subject I could talk about all day, dude.
Oh, right.
I'm a tax gray area guru.
Dude, amen, brother. I just got done doing.
Never pay any taxes you don't have to pay.
Right? I'm getting good with numbers, right?
Yeah, I'm not good with numbers, but I know laws. I know laws. All right. So, and I learned them all from accountants. I didn't learn them or anything. I learned it all from accountants that I've hired. So we talked a little bit about this before we started recording, but I would like to know about your stream setup.
Yeah. Where do you want me to start? Anywhere?
You know what? Let me pull the green screen off you real quick, and we'll just show everyone your room.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yeah.
And we'll start there, and then I'll put it back on. Let me see here. Display capture, filters, remove green screen. Bam. All right. Show me what you got. So he has a whole room.
There it is.
Completely wrapped in green screen. This is how he makes all of his content that we were talking about earlier. Look at this. This is unreal. So I guess start there. Tell us whatever you want to tell us about your operation.
Yeah, so actually, when I started streaming, I was in the other side of the basement, and I had about 1.5 feet behind me. It was cramped, and I made the decision to kind of sacrifice my man cave. I had built myself a little movie theater in here, which kind of had all my posters, my figurines, all that good stuff on the wall. And I knew I needed a bigger space, so I took everything down, went to about 4 different Walmarts, bought every single piece of green fabric that they had, and just started stapling it away to the walls to get everything back here green. Because I knew with the vision I had of some of the content I wanted to create, or some of the stuff I wanted to be able to do on the stream when I'm switching scenes and up and moving around, I needed the space, right? So sacrificed the man cave and went ahead and built the little area that I have behind
me. Can you walk back there real quick and show us how far it goes back?
100%.
Guys, check this out. This is cool as hell. This is some green screen commitment right here. He did a cartwheel earlier. I don't think he has enough energy to do another one. That is awesome.
Oh. All right. So then, thanks, man. But yeah, like I said earlier, I have several different cameras that allow me to get up, switch scenes, and then when I switch scenes, it switches to the different cameras. So you can see the full frontal shot or just a half body shot where it doesn't cut off my entire head. But this initial scene works well for my background in my my waiting room, which is kind of a Twin Peaks-ish vibe. But there's chairs in it, and you can actually kind of see the covered green bench right there where I can actually sit in, and it looks like I'm sitting down in a chair that's actually just an image. So it ends up working well. Yeah, it's fun.
I love it. That's one of the I know there's another friend of mine. He's doing a full room like this too, and but I don't think he's gonna. I'm gonna have to show him this fucking podcast so he could take a look at the way you got it set up, because that's cool though.
Cool, thank you.
That is so cool. So you're rocking. Do you do everything from one PC? You got a dual PC setup?
Oh, yeah, I got a dual PC set up. And that was actually probably one of my biggest regrets when I first started streaming, is that I started with a dual PC setup. I like I said, I was in IT for a long time, so I knew how all of this stuff worked.
Right.
But it was definitely starting to stream and going through the initial learning how to stream, learning how to create a streaming rig, doing that all together, and then having a separate gaming PC streaming rig on top of it was a lot, but definitely got through it. But yeah, I'm running a streaming rig, and I have my, I think everything's connected to my streaming rig, and then everything I do on my gaming rig is just Discord and game.
Right on. Sounds pretty similar to mine. Do you use a capture card?
Yeah, I have the Elgato HD 4K. I recently upgraded my monitor to a 2K monitor, and then didn't know that the HD60 wouldn't support a downscaled 1080p image. I actually had to upgrade my capture card to the HD 4K, but then I use an auxiliary cable, and I send my audio from my gaming PC over to my streaming rig with a ground loop isolator in the middle to keep the signal clean. And I do that.
I used to do it that way. I just send all my audio through the HDMI cord. I use an HD60S.
Okay. Yeah.
And you can't stream at 2K anyways, so I just render everything at 1080. The only thing that gets downscaled is maybe my 2K game, so it's a single downscale. I run 2 copies of OBS, so I run OBS on my gaming PC, and I do a full screen preview to the capture card, which has its own display. It's not a duplicated display, and that's how I avoid that 60 hertz limit and and get past that downscale.
I thought about doing it that way, and I actually messed around and was playing with it like that, and then I was just like, I'm just gonna buy it, screw it, and it just kind of keeps it simple because I didn't want to manage kind of that overhead. Because if you've seen my stream before, you'll know I do make some mistakes and blunders from time to time, and I knew that was going to be an issue. So I just ended up saying, screw it, bought the HD 4K, which, like I said, downscales the 1080p, still runs it at, on my side, at 164 hertz 2K, but then the stream sees, actually, 720, 60 hertz.
Interesting, okay.
Yeah, and I used to go 1080p, but a lot of mobile users had
Want me to give you a
issues
trick? Want me to give you a trick for that?
Yeah.
All right, here's what I do. All right, this is what you do until you get partnered. Stream at 1080p 60, but when you start your stream, look at see if you have quality options. If you don't, turn the stream off. Restart it again. If you don't have quality options, do it again. Do that over and over every time you start your stream. Yeah. Until you get the quality options. That's what I did. I did that today. It took me 2 tries. Yesterday it took me 11 tries, 11 restarts. It took me like 5 minutes.
That's good to know.
Yeah. So because you randomly get it, so you just say, okay, fine. If this is random, I'll just play the random game and keep restarting until you fucking give it to me. Because I want people on mobile to be able to watch.
Yeah, and I dug into why it works that way, and it turns out that Twitch gives priority for transcoding down below 1080p to all the partners. So associates or affiliates like us don't get that option unless those computing resources are available on Twitch.
Yeah, it's been like that for years. And there's also certain settings that you can put on OBS that will give you more priority too. So because there's the way that they transcode everything. And if your settings are different, they're able to accept those, but then they got to convert and then it goes to their normal settings, right? So if that step is in the way, if there's any of your settings that are wrong, you're going to get even less priority over that. So that means more restarts at the beginning of each stream. So I got it down to just a few because I've got they have to do the least amount of work to transcode my stream because I match their settings so closely. So that's how that works. Yeah. So if anyone ever catches the beginning of my stream, that's why it's stopping and restarting so often. It's because I want those quality options. I need those mobile viewers, and I want my 1080p 60 quality. I want both.
Right? You want both.
I want both, so I get both.
Awesome.
All right. Next question. Question. Where do you plan on taking your show in the future? What are your goals with the k0vic show?
The goals. So, so it's actually not really, I guess, viewer count related, revenue related. I have written an entire subplot for the show that I've been teasing now for almost a year on my show, and I started shooting it, and it just became too much for just me. So ideally, by the time my show ends, and I'm done with Twitch, I would love to have aired the k0vic show, I guess, mini movie or subplot that goes along with why I'm in this weird waiting room via the quantum leap accelerator that has been a theme from each of the seasons, why I have to stream and play video games, what happens when I leave the waiting room, and the revelations that happened over the time that I've been gone, how long I've been gone. It's literally like, I would say, based on the script alone, it's about 4 hours long. And ideally what I wanted to do was, with each of these seasons, this is actually how the season started, was release some of this footage. And then eventually I would actually leave the waiting room as part of these subplots. And I say the waiting room, that's my lobby background. But when I leave Twitch, if I can have shot that and aired that, I would be happy 100%.
So you're making like a little like movie and story to the whole thing.
Yeah, it's a miniseries. It's
all the effects. They're all going to have an explanation at the end.
Yes,
that's crazy.
100%. Yeah, and it's like I said, it's all been written. It's been written for over a year now. I wrote a lot of music for it as well. I played the keyboard for about 10 years. I'm a hack at the guitar. But I've written all the music for it. But shooting it and then having myself play multiple characters in it has been a challenge. But I'm hoping that one day I'll get to the point where I can actually just throw a budget at it, knock the whole thing out, edit it, and then release it.
That is ambitious, my friend. I'm rooting for you.
What can I say?
I want to see
man,
this now.
appreciate it. Hell yeah.
So that's your goal with the show, is to shoot this story.
Shoot the story. Yep. I have a story that I want to tell, 100%. And because there's like a weird chicken in my background. We have a character named Hen Solo.
Yeah, what's up with the fucking chicken in the background?
So the chicken started as to go with PUBG, because when I first started playing, I was playing a ton of PUBG. Literally, that's all I played for like the first year of my stream. And then we did this contest to like, give this chicken a name, because everybody kept asking what his name was. The name that won was Hen Solo. So from there, so I ended up giving Hen Solo a whole narrative and background. He's an actual character of the show. I built a Hen Solo costume that I wear from time to time.
Oh man, I'd love to see that.
Yeah, he's got some commands. So actually, when you look at my intro, you'll see the one guy in one of the squares. That is actually Hen Solo. So I
did see that guy.
Yeah. So he's actually become part of the show now. He's on some of the merch, and a lot of the people in my audience, they dig the Hen Solo. So he definitely fits into the overall story arc. But yeah, that's the chicken story. He's definitely just turned into his own little thing.
Okay. Yeah, if you guys watch k0vic stream, in the background, there's a goddamn chicken. And I've always wondered what the story was, but I never asked until now.
There you
go. Okay. What do you love most about streaming, k0vic? What is just something that you fucking absolutely love about this shit that we do?
The way, good or bad, mostly good though, that my viewers and just general people make me feel. It was one of the things I guess I never thought about when I got into streaming. I can say honestly that I didn't start streaming because I thought that I would have an impact on people's lives. But as it turns out, that I've been doing this now for over a year and a half, the messages that people send me and the impact that I've made is blown my mind. I was never expecting that. And I've told this story a couple times on my show, but one of the best feelings that I've ever had from streaming is I talk a lot about movies, a lot about comic books, because I'm a huge nerd. But there was this 14-year-old kid who watched my show, even though it's 18 and up, but he was 14. I can't stop him watching it. And he was hearing me talk about all of these movies, and he heard me talk about Terminator 2 and how Terminator 2 is my favorite film of all time. And I was going into all of the reasons why it was my favorite film of all time. And he sent me a message a few weeks later, and he's like, "Hey, k0vic, I just want to let you know that I don't ever get to spend a lot of time with my dad. But I asked him if he would rent this movie, and we ended up watching it together. And it's the first time that me and my dad have actually spent any time together. It's something that we had in common that we didn't even realize. And we've now been watching all of these other various movies together as well, like Die Hard or Bloodsport, that I've talked about on the show. And he credited me with creating a connection between him and his dad that he didn't have before. And even just telling that story almost gets me misty-eyed, because I just wasn't expecting to be able to have an impact on people, let alone bring people together.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a good story. I like that.
Thanks, man.
Those things just kind of happen, and they won't stop. You know, more good things like that will keep happening the more you keep going.
Yeah, definitely. And I think if it wasn't the impact that I see having on people, or even from helping people with depression or people that are lonely, and they tell me, I feel so much better after watching your stream when I go out into my day based upon the things we talked about or the things that you talked about, it helps me look at life in a more positive way. I think if I didn't get those types of things or didn't hear those types of things, I don't know if I would have the drive still that I have to continue doing Twitch, because it almost becomes more than what my vision is or the story that I want to tell per se. It also becomes about, I like doing this because I like helping people. And I wasn't expecting to have that angle when I started streaming.
We've talked about how you got started. We've talked about what keeps you going. We've talked about your stream setup. We've talked about the chicken.
Yeah.
What about Twitch do you hate most? What do you hate most about streaming? Not just Twitch, but streaming.
Yeah. this. So I know this came to my head, and hopefully this answers your question. Sometimes it's hard to stream. Sometimes you might not be in the best of moods, or sometimes there might be something in real life that's affecting you in the way that you feel. And sometimes it's hard to stream. And right now I feel like I have a certain schedule. I feel like I have obligations to meet. If I'm having a bad day at home or just a bad day here, I wouldn't call off work at my job, right? And I wouldn't stop streaming either. So sometimes having to put on a happy face or forcing yourself to play a game when you've played that
Smile,
game for
bitch!
4,000 hours, right? Yeah, and that becomes hard. And those days are sometimes long. And I know, and I can feel like, man, I'm not having a good of a show. I'm not where I want to be. I don't have that same energy. But at the same time, learning to kind of pick yourself up from that and push through and still put on a show, I think is redeeming. But I would say probably the worst thing I hate about streaming is when you're just not feeling it, but you're there and you're doing it. Hopefully that makes sense and answers your question.
Makes sense. I say just when I have those days, I'll still go live, of course, because I mean, like you said, gotta go to work.
Yeah.
But what I do is I keep it short.
Yeah.
I make that a short one, unless sometimes when I'm having a bad day or wherever, I go live and I'm like, fuck, man, this is going to be a short stream. And then I just kill it on stream.
Yeah.
My day gets turned around. That's happened to me so many times. I'll be having a bad day. I turn on that stream and my day just gets turned around, dude.
Right. And that's a good point. Sometimes like I'll be playing, say either it's Apex or PUBG. And sometimes if I just start playing with maybe the right person who has that good vibe, and it's amazing how like somebody else's energy can start turning you around and picking you up. And there's a couple guys that I play with where I'm not feeling it. I'm just kind of there going through the motions. But I started playing with this character and his energy just starts rubbing off on me. And before you know, my whole day's turned around. So that feels good as well.
Turn on. Next question. I'm getting some feedback from you. I think we're just going to try and edit it out or whatever, but I'm definitely getting some hard feedback every time I get too loud. That's okay. Let's see. So I think you may have covered this already. I was going to ask you what your favorite moment was so far you've ever experienced on Twitch. Would it be what you talked about earlier with the young man?
Terminator 2 dad moment. Yep.
Terminator 2 dad moment. Right on. That's a good dad and son movie, dude.
It is. I watched it with my son already.
Especially if there's a kid that doesn't connect with his dad that much. That's like a kid connecting with a dad kind of movie.
Right. Agreed.
You know?
100%.
Yep. Yeah. It's like the perfect movie. All right. Where do you see this industry going forward? This industry of Twitch. You're an IT guy. You know internets. You know how to internet, dude. What do you think about this platform and where it's going?
I mean, that's a good question. I don't know. It'll be interesting, I think, what happens with content creation on Twitch in general. Because a lot of people do the same thing. There's a handful of people that are trying to do something different. I don't know if it's going to be more of the same in the future, or if you're going to see like another generation of streamers coming up through the ranks, right? Because if you look at, say, actors per se, right? You had the Steve McQueens back in the day, then you had the Clint Eastwoods, and now you have the Zac Efrons. Oh, those were the first generation names that came to my head. It'll be interesting to see as Twitch grows, like who was the like founding fathers of Twitch streamers, and then there's the next generation, and how different do their streams look, and how much did they evolve versus the original people that were really big streaming, and how much content we'll be able to use. A lot of people play music, a lot of people play videos. I play a lot of old commercials from the 80s and 90s. How much longer will we actually be able to do that before the hammer starts coming down on something?
That's already happening. We're gonna we're already seeing bans right now. If the music industry starts bitching about a specific stream, Twitch will just get rid of that stream to make the problem go away and be like, they are gone, fuck off.
Yep. Yeah, and I think that's only going to get worse and worse. It'll be interesting to see where all of that's at, I think.
Well, I navigate YouTube pretty well, and you make
Mm-hmm.
a lot of original content. So I think that you would be able to pivot pretty easily. I think the thing that everyone's going to have a hard time with is music, because even on YouTube, people are still having a hard time using music correctly. Now, I know that there's a lot of unfair stories out there, but like 99% of the algorithm is right most of the time. There's that 1% of the time where the algorithm fucks up and it dings the wrong person and they get muted, or or whatever's going on,
Yeah.
What's really going to happen is we need to educate people on how to navigate the world of media, because television and movies do it. They follow all the rules.
Yep.
Internet people are the ones who do not want to follow the fucking rules. And now that there's these automated systems that are enforcing them, they don't like it.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? We have to learn how to follow the rules just like everyone else in the world does. That's the thing. So I'm hoping that we could develop some tools and stuff going forward that will make a lot of those things automated, because streamers don't and YouTube people don't like business. They don't like the administrative side of things, and they don't like having to go get licensing and shit like that handled, right? So if there's like a service or something that can kind of handle a lot of that stuff, especially in the audio department, which is really easy to enforce with software because it's all arrangements. You're a musician, you know how arrangements work. So you just put the arrangements into the system, and bam, dude, your fucking shit's protected.
And I hopefully eventually there will be I'll use an Apple Play for an example, where content creators can sign up and say, hey, I want to use this song or this catalog of songs in my stream, and then maybe based upon how many viewers you have or how many views, you pay a certain monthly subscription to something like that. So you can still use content that's created out there, but you're now kind of more along the playing by the playbook that the musical industry puts out there. Something, it'll be interesting. It'll be neat to see what happens.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what happens. I mean, I like that all the copyright stuff is going down, because I understand that world, and I feel like I'm the only one that knows. I feel like I'm the one with the information for once. I have the scoop. I've got the advantage for once, so I kind of like all that stuff happening, and I feel like maybe I can help remedy some of these problems in the future with the music stuff.
Awesome.
But yeah, video. I don't think video is really going to be that big of a deal on Twitch, because there's it's really with video and like commercials and stuff like that. Those old commercials. There's a really easy way to kind of make that fall under fair use. But with audio, that's a little bit of a different story.
Right.
So going forward, I'm not too worried about the commercials and stuff. It's music that's going to be the big one.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. What do you think would make Twitch a better platform? What does it mean?
What does Twitch need to make it a better platform? So originally I would have said, if this wasn't coming out, the multi-Twitch, especially because a lot of people, at least my viewers and people that I watch the stream, play with other players, right? So I think the multi-Twitch that's coming would have been my first answer. I don't know. Maybe I don't know, man. I have to think on that one, because I feel like I'm not involved with Twitch per se, right? And I kind of do when I'm doing my stream. Like,
you're an IT guy. You're an IT guy.
But
you have an answer for this.
Give them a bigger budget so they have more servers, so affiliates don't have to worry about coding video. That would probably be my first one.
That's pretty standard. I think that should be available to everyone, even if you're not an affiliate.
Yeah, agreed.
YouTube has it. Don't they? Yeah, YouTube just does it. I think that with Amazon owning Twitch, they're tight on a lot of that budget stuff, and I think Twitch was already tight on that, because I think that shit's really expensive. I think that's a big cost right there, right? So they're trying to minimize cost, because it's not self-sufficient yet. And even YouTube isn't self-sufficient. So like features like that on YouTube that are just free out of the box and we take for granted, like there's a huge payment behind that we don't have to cover.
Yep.
So I kind of understand why they do that. That the transcoding thing is the number one reason why I want partner.
Agreed. That's the 100% the main reason I would want partner.
Yeah,
100%.
I want transcoding options, so that's why I want. I don't want to restart my stream a whole bunch of times at the beginning of the streams ever again.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's a good answer. I like that. All right, let's move on to some of these final questions, my friend. One of them being, what advice do you have for anyone thinking about getting into streaming? And before you answer that, we're live. I want to offer an opportunity to anyone watching right now to throw in some questions in the chat that I can ask k0vic. All right, so throw out your questions, and I'll pick which ones I want to go with, and we'll go. Maybe I'll go with all of them. But throw your questions out there if you guys have anything specific you'd like him or myself to answer. Mostly him, if you guys
Cool.
don't mind. You guys got me the whole rest of the day.
Yeah. So that's a good question. Advice. Be yourself. Don't bite off more than you can chew when you initially get started. Be patient. And I think allow yourself to grow. I think it's hard to, for anybody to kind of look in the mirror and say, these are my weaknesses. I know what my weaknesses are. A lot of my weaknesses. One of them, I'm dyslexic in hell. Sometimes it's hard for me just to put a sentence together, let alone read the chat. And since I know that's one of my weaknesses, it's something I'm very open about. It's something that I even use as humor and kind of poke fun at myself for. But at least understanding what my flaws are, or I should say what your flaws are, and how you can turn those into maybe strengths is, I think, something that helps maybe make you more relatable or enjoyable to your viewers. But it just takes time and it takes patience. I've been doing this for a year and a half. I average 22 viewers. I definitely wouldn't complain about anything that I've done before. But like I said, it takes time, and it's taken me this long just to get where I'm at. So definitely be patient.
Focus on growing yourself. I like that answer. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's a real answer, and I agree. Focus on yourself.
Yeah. Well, and I know, like I said earlier, I had an idea of what I wanted to do with the show when I started streaming, and what I'm doing now is that original idea, but morphed based upon what I've experienced in Twitch, what people like, what people want to see more of. And it's definitely not the same. So just allowing yourself to evolve and grow, I think is pretty solid.
Yeah. That's a phenomenal answer. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. And I've got a couple more things we're going to talk about. Before we do that, we're going to do viewer questions. So we have a serious question from Captain Kern in the chat. He says, how do you deal with chat trolls?
It depends on the level. If somebody's in there and they're just dropping hate words, the filter will catch it and they'll be gone. If there's somebody who's just coming in and acting douchey, usually I have some fun with them. I'm pretty open in my chat. I'm not a huge fan of censorship at all. So usually when somebody starts a conversation in there, I let it go. And I've actually, some of my mods have jumped to kind of ban things or ban people for something that they've said, and I've had them unban them and let that message go through, just because I don't want people to be afraid of having a conversation in my chat. And I know a lot of streamers aren't like that, just because they like to keep all the good vibes and a lot of the political conversation out. But to an extent, I kind of welcome that because I like having those conversations. And when people come in and when they're just dicks, I guess I kind of be a dick back. And eventually they just leave. Usually I don't even ban them.
I just ban them. I have like 1,000 fucking bans on my channel.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and you're a busy guy over there. You're much busier than I am, so it gives me something.
Back when I was at like 20 viewers, I would have someone come in that chat, and back then I used to just kind of I approached it like you did, right? I just kind of let them do it, or whatever, and I would have fun with them, or be a dick back, or whatever. And then a lot of times they would be like, "Hey, I kind of like it here. I'm accepted." You know what started happening after I started doing that for a while? I started building a community off of people that I should have banned. Now I have a bunch of fucking toxic ass motherfuckers, right? So I ended up getting rid of them in the long run, but I started building a toxic community by welcoming these guys. So what I started doing now, and you can do it however you want. I'm just saying the way I do it. If I notice someone doesn't belong, this is very tribal. This place is very tribal. So I have a tribe on my chat. And if someone's going to be a fucking asshole around here, you know, and they're just going to cause problems, I'm going to get them the fuck out right away and forget they ever existed and move on with my cast, because I don't want a bad apple rotting all the other ones. We want a community of, so if you're selective with who you let in, and when you really want viewers, you'll let anyone in almost. When you really want them, you know, it's like, fuck, man, somebody showed up, but they're being an asshole. Maybe I could work with them and get them to be nicer and stay or something. They're always going to be an asshole. They might play nice a little bit, but in the long run, the toxicity is going to come out, and that's going to be a part of your community. You're going to host somebody, that guy's going to go over to that stream, and they're going to misrepresent you, make you look like a fucking dick, right? So That's why I say get rid of all of them immediately. You see someone that doesn't belong in your tribe, have everyone eat that person alive, like your cannibalistic tribe, right? Just eat that fucker alive and move on. We don't let outsiders in here. You got to be one of us to get in here, you know, kind of a thing.
One of us. Yep.
Right, because that's the way it goes. Because I mean, I had some pretty gnarly trolling. I had a whole like team. It was like this whole team of people. Like I banned somebody because I got bad like some info on this guy that he shouldn't be involved. So I was like, okay, I trust who said that. Just ban, no questions asked. And they got really mad. So he got all of his friends to troll me for hours. Like making alt accounts, all these $1 donos and chargebacks and all this shit, right? For hours. And I got it all on camera, and I got other streamer perspectives of it and shit like that, and put it all on YouTube. And I'm not gonna name any names, but it's on my YouTube channel if anyone wants to check it out. No one's working with those guys. There's all the bigger streamers that I know aren't working with those guys. And one of the things is like I knew that this one guy was toxic from the very beginning. I could just kind of tell, but I kind of let it slide. And then I got the DM about the guy, and I was like, fuck it, banned. I already had a bad feeling. Get rid of him. And it was the right decision because of everything that went down afterwards. Like, obviously, it was a good thing. So that's my thing on banning people. Just ban like no tomorrow. Ban like no tomorrow. Be relentless. Never back down. Never, ever, ever take a knee to the fucking trolls. You're in charge of your own broadcast. You get rid of them.
Damn right.
It is not a democracy. It is a dictatorship. And if someone doesn't want to be a part of your community, get them the fuck out. That's what I say. That's my answer. I had a fiery, passionate answer. Sorry. Okay, another question from chat says, excuse me. Do you have an issue with stream snipers in specific games?
I have in the past. I had 4 or 5 in PUBG. I haven't really dealt with anybody in Apex. But in PUBG, most of the time I just kill them. There was a couple times that they would get me, but for the most part, it wasn't that many, and they weren't that good. So I haven't really had that bad of a problem.
For me, I don't really deal with them that well because I suck at games in the first place. I can't just kill them; they kill me. So if it's somebody from the community, I call them out. I'm like, look, dude, what the fuck, man? I thought we were cool. Why are you ruining my shit? Right? Yeah. But if it's someone I don't know, then there's nothing you do about it. I just go on with my day.
Yeah, that actually happened one time. Because most of the time, people who are stream sniping me, they'll get in the chat and they'll say something. Right. And I'm like, whatever, it'll help give me a high kill count, so bring it on. But one time somebody did kill me, and they thirsted me. And that kind of pissed me off because now I was sitting, waiting, while the rest of my squad, who were other guys who were streaming, were playing. They had to finish playing their game. And I was like, dude, it's one thing to stream snipe me, that's all right, but you didn't have to thirst. You could have just went after the rest of the guys. That was kind of a dick move. But other than that, yeah, it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah. That's a good answer. I mean, the only thing you can do is try and prevent it with covering stuff up and overlays, delays, or whatever. You know, it's the best you got. Mr. Green in the chat says, I like your idea of this story developing over the course of your stream history. How long do you think it will take to develop the whole story?
The whole story is done. And it's been written for quite some time. I am hoping that, I haven't even told my stream this, but I'm hoping a year from the October. So in about a year from October, so a year and a half, I am hoping to premiere that. That would end up being the season 6 premiere of my show. And I'm hoping to premiere it, or it'll be the end of season 5. It'll be somewhere along there, but it's going to happen because it's like you get that passion, that burning in the belly that you have something, you want to get it out there. That's where I'm at. So it's definitely going to happen. It's just a matter of the timing and the budget.
Right on. All right. And if anyone has any more questions, please let me know in the chat. Total Chaos says, how do you feel your physical location, like where you live, helped with your streaming? I'm not sure how that, see, how do you feel let me see if I can paraphrase this.
Okay.
How do you feel your physical location, like where you live, has helped with your streaming? Does it matter?
No, I don't think it really matters for me. I mean, I'm from Ohio.
You do it all from your room, you know? You're on the internet. You're everywhere. You can do it from anywhere.
Yeah, and I mean, as far as like anything like as terms of meeting somebody physically, we did have a meetup with k0vic Show, the k0vic Show community in Vegas a couple months ago.
How did that go?
It was fun. Eagle was out there. I got to meet Gliding Eagle in person, and a handful of other guys. I think there was about 7 or 8 of us that went out there. But it was a lot of fun. We're going to be doing the same thing again, I think, in August. This time we're going to a house on a lake, and we're going to spend a handful of days just hanging out. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So
you going to TwitchCon?
I don't know yet.
The fuck?
I know. So usually TwitchCon's in October. That's both my kids' birthday, school, soccer. It's very hard for me to get away with family first, right? This one's in September, so there's a higher chance of going. I'm weird, and I got.
You don't need to take care of family responsibilities. This is TwitchCon, dude.
I know. We'll see. We'll see.
That's why you're married, right?
Right. I'm thinking.
You can take care of it. You know, you come on over to TwitchCon, have a meetup there, man. That's the way to do it. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm like 50.
I want to give you a kazoo.
A kazoo?
Yeah, a PapaStanimus kazoo. I give those out at TwitchCon every year.
Would love it. Love one.
I was thinking about giving away sleeveless shirts this year. Get everyone part of that.
That is your thing. That'd be sweet. You have a DuckTales sleeveless shirt, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I have a DuckTales. I think I have the same DuckTales shirt, but it has sleeves on it. So maybe I'm going to show up there and surprise you.
Well, I cut mine. Mine used to have sleeves on it. Yeah. Did you get it at Kohl's? That's where I got mine.
With Spencer's
okay.
Gifts.
All right. Any other questions in the chat before we end streamer stories? Any more questions? And while you guys think about that, I'm gonna cover some more of these things that we have here. This is kind of the plug time of the segment, so I hope you have some things picked out that you want to talk about. The first one, though, is pretty easy. I want to ask you who your favorite streamers on the platform are.
My favorite was this guy, PapaStanimus. He doesn't wear sleeves, but he's all right. I've been really digging his content. My favorite streamers, man. Like I said earlier, I actually don't watch a ton of Twitch. I watch a lot of people within my community. I watch you.
That's what I do.
But yeah, and it's hard because when I'm done streaming, I'm up with my family, so I actually don't even get a lot of time.
Let me ask you it in another way. Who's your favorite big streamer that you've experienced, and in the small world, in your circles, who's someone small in your world that you like?
Okay, so big stream. I wouldn't be streaming if I didn't watch the doc. The doc, I think, showed you that you can be more than just sit there and play video games.
Exactly.
I love his production value, and I love what he does, and that was 100% my inspiration for what I do.
Cool.
As far as smaller streamer, I already named you. I would probably have to go with my buddy Zasky, and he gets an average of 3 to 4 guys, but he's one of the funniest dudes I've ever met. He hangs out on my channel a lot. I play a lot of games with him. He's my duos partner in tournaments as well. But I really enjoy watching that guy play.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for sharing that. And let's see, we do have a couple more questions in the chat. It says Super Commie Zach says, you said this is your living now. Do you have a girlfriend or married? And if so, how was the conversation around green screening an entire room? I like that. Let's hear it.
So I'm married, and I have the most supportive wife in the entire world. I know it sounds corny, but it's true. Like, she helped me staple and hammer some of the green screen up here. She was cool with it. I think she thinks, and she's probably right, that it's a 3 to 5 year type activity, and then we'll probably move on from there. And eventually, worst case scenario, I take the green screen down and I put my posters and action figures back up on the wall. So she was pretty cool and pretty supportive.
She didn't give a fuck. It was your room anyways, dude.
You're goddamn right. So.
Your room is a man. She's like, you want to change your man cave to some other stupid shit? Go ahead, man.
Right.
It's not my room, all right? But you're staying away from the lady cave, all right?
You're right.
Okay. Favorite game of all time?
Rust.
Rust?
I think, Rust or Ocarina of Time.
Okay. I like the Ocarina of Time answer better. Personally.
Yeah. I think I played a lot of Rust, and I think that I love the whole social aspect of that game. Like, when you're playing that game, you are living in that world. It's a hard game to stream, which is why I don't play very often. But before I started streaming, I played a shit ton of Rust. It was definitely probably my favorite game of all.
Have you tried Conan Exiles?
I did.
What do you think?
It was all right. It was fun. The servers weren't big enough for me, and there wasn't enough PvP. I like a lot of PvP. But it was fun. I did enjoy.
So Rust is more PvP heavy?
Yeah, Rust is like a whole social element to it. You end up having neighbors. You end up becoming familiar with people. When you play on the same server frequently, you see the same guys. So it's literally like you're living in this other world. You have real life, and then you have Rust life. And it can be very consuming, but it's a lot of fun.
Damn, dude, we're getting some good viewer questions in here. I think I'm gonna ask you guys to give me viewer questions going forward because this is an awesome element to the show. I never thought about it. I never thought about asking what they think, dude. I was just gonna do everything. All right, here we go. We got another one. How do you deal with people that are in a down mood because of life and keep the stream lively?
So I think this is how I initially address it. I think I'm pretty consistent with this.
Like when someone says, like, I'm thinking about killing myself or something, right? Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I haven't. Yeah, I mean that's a little extreme. I haven't got anything like that, but I've gotten people come in and says, "Oh, I'm depressed," or "I'm just not having a good day," and I try and address that. I try to make them feel better, and then I try to move on and focus on more of the positive people that are in the chat at the time, hoping that will bring them up. And if they're still there negative, and they're being negative, I try not to put as much attention or focus to that if it's bringing the rest of the party down. To your point earlier where you said, get them out of there. If it's somebody who's new to the community that I've never met, I probably would just get them out of there. If it's somebody who's a regular, who's genuinely just having a bad day, usually it's just not me trying to make them feel better. It's the entire chat trying to make them feel better because they are part of the community.
I would never boot anyone just for them having a bad day. I would only boot someone because they're causing problems.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You can kind of get people, I think, that might come in with a toxic element to being down. I think if they're not, so I think if they're not part of the community, and really that person who's coming in is really just looking for attention and bouncing from channel to channel. But if it's definitely part of some of the community, we try to address them, we try and bring them up, and usually the entire chat jumps on it and tries to get them in a better place. What
I do, I like your answer. Thank you. What I do, because I want to touch on this too. What I do is sometimes you get someone that's like, I want to fucking, I'm feeling kind of suicidal today, or like just stuff like that, right? And I know they want to talk about it. Like they just want to talk about it with someone, but it's the problem is that it's an inappropriate time to talk about it. Because I'm performing, I'm live, and I'm performing, and we're taking the whole show and we're making it about you being fucking depressed about some shit.
Right.
Yep. So what I do is I just say, I'll ask them a little bit about what's going on, and I'll be like, that fucking sucks. Sorry to hear that, but you're here right now. You're here with me right now. We're not worrying about that shit. You're going to worry about that shit another time. This is your moment not to worry about it. We're going to hang out. We're going to have a good time. You're going to feel good. We're not going to think about that. And then they will have to go back to it at some point, but I try and give them a moment where they don't have to worry about it. That's the best I got. I can't solve your fucking problems. But what I realistically, in reality, can do is take your mind off of it. So I'll just, I try and do that. And I see myself as like the bartender,
Yeah.
But instead of going on and on about it, I'm the bartender that talks about how fucking awesome the drink is I just made them. That's my approach. Yeah. And if that doesn't work and they keep going on and on about it, I just I'll let the chat talk to them if they want, but I'm gonna stop reading their shit out loud.
Yeah, that's basically what I do. Yeah,
just stop reading it. Yep. Don't read it out loud. Don't talk about it. Just start moving on. And because it was already covered, it's done and over with. They might want to keep going on and on, but it's time to move forward. That's the way I do it. I'm not trying to be insensitive or anything, but you got to balance being sensitive to someone's issues and also continuing the show.
Yep.
Kind of tricky.
Agreed.
What is the best moment you have had in PUBG? Like the funniest moment? This question comes from Topher Arrival in the chat.
The best moment, funniest, maybe about 6 months ago, I was playing solos and didn't realize it, but Chad, Chadd, who used to play with Shroud a lot, was in my game. And we went toe-to-toe, and I ended up killing him, and he thought I was a cheater. That made me feel pretty good. And I wasn't cheating.
Well, there's that website that can show you that stuff, right?
Yes. Yeah, yep. It's a good website. I've spent many hours on there, but I haven't been playing PUBG as much lately. I've been taking a little bit of a break to it. And right now, I used to love playing solos. I played, of all of my hours, I think I have 3,000 hours of playing just solos.
Nice.
But I used to play from 9 a.m. till 3 p.m. And right now it's really hard getting solo games that early. So that's why I've been really playing Apex a lot during my morning stream.
Right on. In terms of cold calling viewers, what is your biggest strength, or what would have the biggest effect? This is from Total Chaos in the chat.
Cold calling, as in trying to get them to watch my show?
I'm not sure.
Like, hey,
I'm thinking
k0vic,
cold calling is like calling someone that you've never spoken before.
Yeah.
You know, that's what to me that's what that means. So I'm not sure what exact. Maybe we'll let him elaborate on that. We'll come back to it. We got another question here.
Okay.
This is from Super Commie Zach. During your time streaming, when did you realize this was going to be your main focus and career? Was there a big moment, or was there a lot of small things that built up?
I think it was a lot of small things that built up. I think it was watching some various streamers before I started streaming and saying, I think I can do this and I want to do this. And I'm kind of an ambitious guy. I got something in my head that fire burning in my belly, and I just do it until I feel like I've reached a point where I'm happy with what I've done, and then from there I'll maybe move on to something else. But yeah, it was definitely just a bunch of small things that kind of led me to where I'm at, if that makes sense.
Makes sense to me. k0vic or Total Chaos says you had the right idea with the question. So like basically cold, yeah.
Yeah. So why would you come watch the k0vic show? I would say that if you're looking to maybe, especially if you're younger, I'm 38 years old. I'm kind of a grandpa on Twitch. And if maybe you're looking to experience something that was maybe from generations past, some of that nostalgic value, which is really what's inspired a lot of what you see on television and in movies and games today. We do a lot of that. In fact, a lot of the music we play on the show are scores to old movies, old B-campy movies. We nerd out a lot about comic books, and we create a lot of various silly content on the show. We're really big into the community. I play with a lot of community members. And we're just going to continue to grow, and hopefully we're going to start telling a story of kind of a subplot of the show. I guess that's, yeah, I mean, really that's, we're just nerds. If you want to come nerd out, come hang out. That's would be pretty much it.
Right on. If you guys have any last minute questions, we're going to start wrapping up here pretty soon, so get those in the chat. We got another question from Gliding Eagle. He says, how many times have you raged so hard that you uninstalled the game?
He's talking about PUBG. And
I mean, I would say PUBG
twice.
or Apex. Twice?
Yeah.
Damn.
It's hard, like, and it's where, like, I have so many hours in that game, and I love that game, and I want to be able to play that game, and I want it to feel like it did 6 months ago. And every time I jump in, like I said, I play solos. I don't play a lot of customs or a lot of squads. I do like duos, but it's just something, I don't know, maybe I'm at that point where I just need a continued break, and feel like I'm forcing myself to try and have that magical feeling that that game once gave me. If that makes sense.
I think you just have a lot of hours in it, and you're tired of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you're just tired of the game because you have 3 hours of just solos. I'm looking at my hours.
Yeah.
I have 1,976 total hours.
I think I'm at 4,000 hours.
That's crazy. That's too much, dude.
It's too many hours.
The hours are too damn high. Yeah, I get it, dude. That's why you're playing Apex. If I had 4,000 hours, I'd probably play Apex too. But my problem is that I find it very difficult to stream a game that doesn't have a community element added to it. I've done a lot of streaming like that, and what I've realized is that I don't really want to, like, I would love to do that sometimes just for fun, but when I'm live, I'm trying to get the most out of every hour. Every hour I want to get as many followers as I can, if I can get subs, if I can get, see where my viewers are going and stuff. And when I do solo type games that aren't community, or if it's just squad based, like battle royale stuff, and I find that my stream takes a huge hit in viewers and engagement, and the chat is super slow and stuff because it's not community anymore. It's all about the one guy. And I know I'm not saying that that's a bad way to stream, but for me, I have a hard time going back to that and then taking that hit, because I found that community oriented streams have way more engagement, and and you see more day-to-day growth. Like, but you know, I think I measured it out, and when I do like solo games, or you know, just play like PUBG normal or whatever battle royale or whatever shooter, just normal, I'm at like 1/4 of my output, you know, of what I'm accomplishing. So I found, you know, like I want to be able to stream Apex and games like that, but the thing that I really want is I want servers that we can host and get everyone in the chat, because that's my thing.
Yeah,
everyone from the chat in one game. That is magic on this platform.
No, and that's definitely cool. I 100% get that. And when I first started playing PUBG, one of the reasons why I love solos was because solos was slower. And unless I was tryharding, I spent most of the time, I would get a topic in my head, right? And I would sit there, and the entire time I was playing solos for, say, an hour, I would be talking about one thing. Maybe the Maximum Carnage story arc in Spider-Man from like 1994. And like that was why I really loved PUBG, because I could spend all that time just nerding out, talking about things while I played the game, and getting the chat involved about all those things. When I play Apex, it's really hard to do that, because Apex is a very fast-paced game, and my chat definitely takes a hit. I've actually acknowledged this to my stream. So one of the things that I'm doing to kind of help get back to some of those roots is on play slower, right? No, on Saturdays, I'm not going to be gaming anymore. We're going to do more of a live. I don't want to say podcast, because it's going to work more like a radio talk show, but there'll be video. And it's going to be me and another physical guest, and we're basically going to be going over talking about various stories from our youth, various topics. I'm going to have a mod that's going to be kind of moderating the Discord. If somebody wants to chime in like they were calling in on a radio show, they'll be able to hit up the mod and be like, hey, I want to add this to the conversation. And the mod will move them to another channel where I'll allow them some airtime to talk to us. So we're going to actually start doing a lot more of that stuff, and we're going to kind of give it a trial run, I think, starting this Saturday.
That's cool.
And thanks, man. If my chat likes it, then we're going to probably end up doing that a couple times a week. Or at least every Saturday. So it's definitely in its beta infancy. And right now we're calling it either the Tangent Zone or the k0vic Zone, which is a throwback meta to the season 2 of the k0vic Show. But it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm still personally trying to find that middle ground of playing the games that I want to play, because I'm an aggressive player. I'm competitive, and I like playing these types of games, as well as keeping my chat happy, keeping them involved, and keeping them interested.
That's pretty cool. So you have coming up soon. When is this going to start? It's going to start on Saturdays.
We're going to try and do a trial run this Saturday.
This Saturday, okay.
This Saturday. So I got like 3 new microphones, mic stands, furniture that's covered in green screen. Built a set that's going to be behind us, where we'll be able to sit there and we'll watch either YouTube videos. But it's right now I'm doing it with a guy that I've known since I was 12. So we have a really good banter back and forth, and we're just going to see where it goes. And I don't have anything. This is what I want it to be. I want it to evolve, and we'll see what works and what doesn't work. And I guess that's kind of like
just throwing it out there. Yeah, that's what you got to do.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
Yep, yeah. And if people don't like it, we won't do it again, and we'll just go from there.
Yeah. Or another, you know, I like your method, because your method is, hey, I have an idea, and you're going to take action on trying out the idea. You're going to measure the results. If it doesn't work out, I'm not sure what you're going to do. I would recommend, I always give this advice on my stream, and I practice this with my ideas, is sometimes when I try an idea, I give it time to take a life. So maybe the first couple attempts don't really work out, but maybe by attempt 3 or even attempt 10, it'll you know, you just, if you have a really good idea and you feel good about it, you have to believe in it enough to allow it to fail a few times too, to really see.
Agreed.
To see if it's going to work or not, because one trial is not enough data, and any person with any science minded or did any type of stuff in school would know that, like, you got to try things a few times with experiments.
Right. Well, it's like you look at, you know, various TV shows. Most of the time, season 1 is one of the worst seasons there is, and shows usually find their stride in season 2 and season 3. And that's what I'm kind of hoping to do with this. Some of the various things that I've done, like I shoot this thing called I don't shoot it. It's the Nostromo Adventures, and it's a voiceover. And I'm a horrible voice actor, which my chat was not scared to tell me. But I basically do a voiceover of the movie Alien, and that was kind of hit or miss on some of my viewers. But I still like the idea, and I still want to keep doing it. So instead of me trying to force myself to do these voices, I'm listening to my chat, and I'm actually going to be including them, to giving them lines. They're going to record them and send them to me, and I'm hoping that might help make that idea a little bit better than what it came off the first time, if that makes
it makes sense. And I have a question. We also have another chat question. Guys, don't feel like we're pressed for time. We'll go on for as long as k0vic is willing to, and as long as we have a good conversation going. As long as we're not going too far, but we're an hour in, and I don't mind keeping going. We don't have like a set time on these, so please ask questions away if you have them. I want to ask you if you've ever seen those internet videos where like a different set of filmmakers or a person will film an individual scene, and then like it's through a whole community. Everyone got like there was a RoboCop remake. It's called Our RoboCop remake, and they took every scene from the original RoboCop, and a different film group made each scene. So some scenes are animated, some are even puppets, some are a musical. So it's the whole RoboCop movie, but each scene is made by a different group of people.
Wow. No, I haven't seen that. And it sounds amazing. RoboCop's one of my greatest, or one of my favorite films of all time.
I'm going to send you a link.
Please do.
Okay, remember that scene in RoboCop when RoboCop shoots the girl between the legs and hits the guy in the dick behind her?
Oh yeah. Yep,
they redid that scene, and they had like they spent a lot of money on this. They had like 200 guys come in, like 200 different sets of guys holding their own girl, and all these different scenes, and their dicks were hanging out, right? And RoboCop is just like left, right, just shooting all these guys in the dick, and their dicks explode.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Right? And it's just like way over the top. They overdid that scene, right? Because they wanted to make
Our
money.
RoboCop.
Our RoboCop remake. It's on Vimeo. You have to see it. It is so good. The dick shooting scene is the best one, but you'll even notice like the white, not the, is it the white? Yeah, the guys, there's the guys from The Whitest Kids You Know. They even got their own scene. You know those guys, The Whitest Kids You Know from back in the day? No, they were like internet. No. Link in the chat. I'll post it in Discord. It's not safe for Twitch. I think it's bannable kind of stuff, but I mean, it's definitely a rated R kind of a thing. They kept it. This came out just before the RoboCop remake. With you know that I think it's 2014. Yeah. It came out around then, and what I was suggesting is that you should watch that and then see if you can do that with your community. Maybe you can take like a short film or something, you know, something that's a little bit more easy to, you know, like you said, don't bite off more than you could chew, right? So grab something that's not overly ambitious, give it a test run with the community, and give everyone their own chance to reenact a different scene from something that you guys all like, and see what it turns into. They've done this with a lot of movies. Like you could watch the original Star Wars, and every scene is animated by a new animator. That's a different animator.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
It's cool. There's a lot of community made movies where they remake the scene. So, and it's easy because each person that you get involved, they only have to do the one scene. So it's not overly ambitious for everybody. You just gotta, as the editor, you collect up all the scenes and put them in tandem.
Right.
And I think that is a k0vic kind of a thing.
Yeah, that sounds good. I like that.
Yeah. Look into it.
Cool.
All right. We have one more question in the chat, and then we're going to wrap it up. We're going to do the plug time. We're going to wrap it up. So we have one more question. It says, this is from Super Commie Zach. It says, have you ever ran into a larger streamer like Shroud, Doc, Choco Taco in any games?
Oh, yeah. I think versus Choco, I'm like 6-2 versus Choco Taco. I think he's only killed me twice. I've killed him about 6 times. Chad once. Shroud's killed me once. I've never came across the Doc. I think I've killed Hambino twice. He's killed me once. Those are the ones off the top of my head.
You come across them. You game enough. You come across these guys, you know.
Hey, that's what she said. Or he.
All right. And I got one last thing for you, my friend, and that is plug time. Do you have anything coming up that you would like people to know about? How do we get a hold of you on social media? What are your presences? How can we get integrated in your world? And what should we be looking out for?
So I'm at k0vic _stream on Twitter, the k0vic Show on YouTube, and k0vic1 on Twitch, and the O in k0vic is a 0. It's been that way since I was 18. Like I said, I've been k0vic now for almost 20 years online. As far as the show is concerned, coming up, we have the Nostromo Adventures Part 2, which is some voiceover stuff with the original Alien movie. We've kind of turned it into like an 80s sitcom. It's just over the top and ridiculous. The original pilot episode kind of serves as also my Twitch Prime commercial. The others are going to kind of branch off from there. I have another show that will be coming out in the next couple of weeks called Sergeant Vaney and Lieutenant Girth. That is shot Trailer Park Boys style, and it follows 2 cops, one a seasoned veteran officer and one a younger naive. The younger naive guy is portrayed by my best friend, and they basically just kind of talk about various either pop culture or political things going on in the world. They're shorts. They're about 5 to 7 minutes long each. Those will all air during my commercial breaks on the show. Then eventually I will move them on over to YouTube. But that way it allows me to kind of, Twitch is my main platform, and kind of allows people that don't go to my YouTube channel to kind of see that same content while they're watching the stream. And then on Saturdays, we're going to be doing the Tangent / the k0vic Zone, which will be more of a talk show based show. Some reaction videos, but mostly more banter between my buddy and I, telling various stories from our youths and whatever the chat wants to talk about. I'm sure they'll have links and stuff. Watch them. First episode Saturday is a beta, right? Or I should probably say alpha. It's going to be a test run through, kind of get the vibe of everything. And then hopefully over the next couple of weeks, we'll really get that going good and strong. I'm building a Grand Theft Auto server, roleplay server, actually right now. And my entire community, as well as Papa, you or your community is welcome to play. We'll be doing that, I think, in about 2.5 weeks. The main rule is you can't break character. I'm looking very forward to it. I think it's going to be a good time. And then in May, we're doing a community Rust month where we'll be playing Rust. And I think that's that.
Dude, that is the most extensive use of the plug time I've ever seen on any of my podcasts that I've ever done, dude. I've done quite a few, and thank you. Usually people are unprepared for that. You know, they don't have anything going on that they could think of at the moment. You know, they're not ready.
Well, my biggest problem is I'm working on all of these at the same time. I'm horrible at just focusing on one and knocking it out. Because I'll be working on A, and while I'm working on A, I get an idea for B or how to make B better. So I switch gears and move over to B and start working on that now. And that is my weakness. And that's why it takes me so long to get this stuff done. Anyway.
I would love to see you cutting some of that stuff out of the schedule and put more time and love and effort into your YouTube channel, because the way that you operate, no offense, I know you love streaming, but you are a YouTuber.
Thanks, man.
To me, you know, I feel like you
take it.
I mean, I'm not saying don't stream or anything and don't put all your love and time into it. I'm just saying that, like, I would love to see some of this energy get put into your YouTube channel for some pretty good content, because it's there forever. On streaming, you do all this work, you do something, and then it's kind of gone unless you take that and put it on YouTube. But when it's on YouTube, it's still kind of Twitch oriented. It's like it was made for Twitch, and it doesn't fit on YouTube right. It's something to think about, you know. And I would love to get involved in the future with you. I bet we could do some remote projects, because you know me, I love doing video work. Video work is something I love very much, and I'd love to get you more into the world on YouTube. In fact, if you do choose to do that at some point, I'll put you on one of my I don't have any channels on the side of my YouTube channel. I'll put you on there, because I'm looking for some good content creators to put there. And I don't want it to be someone I don't know that I like a bigger person. I want it to be someone that I like that is smaller, like me. Right. So we can get that. With that said, that concludes today's episode of Streamer Stories. I hope you all had a wonderful time getting to know k0vic. Awesome. I hope you swing by his channel and experience his awesomeness live. He has a lot of creative stuff going on over there, a lot of cool effects, and hopefully we can see him kind of ascend from that and maybe touch into the world of YouTube a little bit. We'll see. I don't know. He's got a lot of shit on his plate, so he's trying to juggle all of this creative stuff he's got going on at once. He's got a lot of things going on. You guys heard it. Check him out on Twitter, on Twitch. For those of you watching on YouTube, links will be down in the description below for all of this man's creative stuff. And k0vic, thank you very much for being here and being a guest on my show. It took us a while, but we're here and we did it finally.
Thank you for having me, man. You keep inspiring me every day, and I appreciate it very much.
Have a good day, and thank you very much.
Can't try to forget the truth.